Welcome. My name is Rhiannon Titmarsh. In the following presentation, we'll be looking at the Junior Middlemount Touch Football Competition held in 2010. I held a junior touch competition at Middlemount Community School in 2010 while I was a student. I ran this competition for ages 10 to 14, which is grades 5 through to 9, middle school. Reasons behind me wanting to do this event was not only through my passion for touch football and physical activity, but it was also to increase the physical activity levels of children in the age group of middle school. I had also noticed that there was a massive range of bad behaviour across this age group within the school, with many kids having to spend their lunchtimes picking up rubbish or in other forms of detention. This also gave me motivation to hold an event to help decrease poor behaviour. So positives of this event was working with Sarah Adamson. As my supervisor, she taught me a lot about running my own sporting event. I learned a lot from her, and there are a lot of things that I will take on with me when holding my next sporting event. I really liked that I was able to learn new skills. This is something that I learnt from Sarah. Learning to work in different types of relationships and with different students as a student myself was a really thrilling experience. Also, seeing the kids' enjoyment of participating in the sport was really humbling. They would all come to me and say how much they enjoyed playing. This actually led to me holding another event. The success of the event was actually quite surprising. I didn't think that it would run as well as it did, and I didn't think that we would meet the aims of the event. We met the aims of the event by actually decreasing the poor behaviour of students. So we did see less and less children having lunchtime detentions because it was one of the rules that if a child was in trouble, they weren't allowed to participate. Negatives of this event. Well, a big one was time. We didn't have much time between my coming up with the idea and the commencement of the idea. So Sarah and I really had to hammer down and plan the event, all the specifics, and get it ready within about 2 weeks. Also, as the games were ran during the lunch times, set up and pack up for games was quite small. As the lunch times were 40 minutes, I'd have to plan to be able to get it set up in 5 and set up at 5 minutes at the start and pack up at 5 minutes at the end. Sometimes this allowed for shorter games for students. So to work on that, I'd probably like to have a plan so that I was free and available, or Sarah was free and available, to have this set up prior to the lunch times and packed up after the lunch times, so that the children got optimised time to play the games. Also, schedules clashed between Sarah and I. As she was a teacher and I was a senior student, we were both very busy, especially in the third term, which was when this event was held. Although a positive from this negative was that we did have other help through Anita Williams, Matt Grieger, and Matthew Bigham. Anita Williams and Matt Grieger were also teachers of the school, and they were more than willing to help when Sarah and I needed it. And also Matthew Bigham, a major part of the community, he was the president of the Middlemount Junior Rugby League Club, and also a father to the children that were playing. He really stepped up and was willing to help when we needed, which was a good thing that Sarah and I had. We were able to organise a lot of backup and a lot of volunteers. Also, the competition was quite small. We didn't have, as the school was a P to 12 school with only about 400 to 500 kids. There was only 7 teams of about 8 or 10, so there wasn't a great deal of involvement, but it did work well. So things that I would do differently if I was to hold this event again, I would allow myself more time to organise everything. So hopefully, instead of coming up with the idea on the first day of term 3 and having the competition start 2 weeks later, I may have put it off to term 4 or made the season extend over term 3 and term 4 just so I could have a few more weeks at the start to get everything ready. Also, I would have liked to include more ages, just so that I could get involvement from other children as well, even if I played modified games for the younger students and made it interesting by making it a little bit harder for the older students, just to keep it a little bit interesting. Also, I did have the idea after the event that it would have been nice to implement like little surprise games. Students really feed off having a game up against the teachers, so it could have been a little beneficial to have something like that, like a teacher versus student game, or just little surprise games, teachers and community versus students, or community team versus students, those kinds of things. Also, I'd like to get more people involved, so it was really Sarah, myself, and the middle-aged students that participated. I did have a lot of others that would come down and watch. We did have a lot of spectators within the community and the other school students. However, I would have liked to get more people involved in the process of running the event. That way I could have had it on the larger scale. Also, I wish I had asked other businesses other than the school for donations. So Middlemount was a very community-driven community, and it would have been nice if I had the opportunity or had the time to go and approach other businesses to see if they were willing to make donations. So maybe I could hold a sausage sizzle on grand final day, or they would have been able to donate prizes for grand final day, those kinds of things. So in conclusion, I believe that the competition was a big success. I really did enjoy working with Sarah, and I was pleased with what we accomplished. I did take a lot away from the experience and what I learnt from Sarah, and I would be really excited to be involved in something similar again. This comes to the conclusion of this presentation.